I think as a sign of respect, I will stand. And also so I can see more faces. Richard Moore, usually I describe my hero. And I really admire his sort of the way of thinking. So, you, and then the leaders of the universities, and perhaps some professors. I think mayor, isn't it? You have this. So, and then basically, I usually describe brothers and sisters. We are same human being. And the fundamental level, we are same human being. Mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. Physical level, little differences, the size of nose. As you mentioned, my nose, consider big nose. I don't think it's a big nose.
I will check.
Usually, when I met him, you see, because you see, difficult to see, so I usually, let him touch, my face.
Yeah.
That usually I sort of the way to introduce myself. So he found my nose a little bit big. So that is very important. We must recognize each other as a human being. No differences. Then secondary level, yes, different faith, different color, different nationality. That's a secondary. I think today, a lot of problem which we are facing is, I think, mainly due to we too much emphasis importance of secondary level, forgetting fundamental level we are same human being. And then also today's reality, we must think about entire humanity, humanity of this world, one world. I think when we're facing some problems, if we carry dealing these problems with a sense we are same human being, my interest related with their interest related to my interest. I always consider I am just one of the nearly now 7 billion human beings. I am part of the humanity. So for my own sort of happy future, entirely depend on rest of the humanity. No matter one single person, powerful or very rich, still part of the humanity. If the humanity happy, peaceful, more compassionate, and everybody get the benefit. And then now modern economy, global economy, no national boundary, no religious boundary, and also ecology problem, no national boundary, no religious boundary. So that's the reality. So time comes, think for entire humanity, and we must talk on the level of human being. So do you see I think, through my expression, you may, some extent, you may read, is my sort of mind, right?
Yes.
My mind. Now, for example, everybody have the feeling of self, I. But nobody pinpoint what that I. Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows. It's 1,000 years, different sort of tradition, different explanation about self, but still not very clear. But in any way, everyone has the feeling of self, feeling of I. And with that, feeling of pains and pleasure. And through that way, by nature, everyone wants happiness, pleasure, joyfulness. Even an animal. Same feeling, same sort of desire. And since it's an experience of pain, we do not want. So we want to overcome pains, problems. And that's the basis of our concept of human right. Because by nature, we have that kind of desire. So everyone have the right to overcome problem, overcome suffering. Now here, I think, on because the human level, I usually, share with people the ultimate source of peace of mind, happiness in mental level is within ourselves. Not money, not power, not status. Some of my friends, maybe billionaire, very rich, but as a person, very unhappy person. The plenty of money fail to bring inner peace. And also those people who are very powerful, I think in deep inside, a lot of anxiety, a lot of sort of stress, a lot of fear and distrust. So material value will not bring real inner joyfulness or inner peace. So the only thing is affection or warm-heartedness. That really brings inner strength, self-confidence. That reduces fear. That develops friendship, trust. Trust brings friendship. We are a social animal. The genuine cooperation among each other is very necessary. Genuine cooperation entirely based on trust. Trust is there. Then, naturally bring together. So therefore, once you see within yourself, more compassionate mind, heartedness, whole atmosphere become more positive, more friendly. Through that way, you see, when you look at the front, yes, you feel, oh, my friend. Look this side, oh, friend. This side also. If you keep here fear, distrust, and you yourself make little distance from other, then that person look here, oh, little suspicion, distrust, more cautious. Look here, again cautious. Look here, again cautious. As a result, deep inside, lonely feeling. Then the problem, blood pressure, too much stress, all these come. One occasion, I think in New York, Columbia University or something, say, one sort of conference with medical scientists. Yesterday, also I mentioned at that conference, one medical scientist in his sort of was a presentation, right? He mentioned those people who express often I, my, mine, like that. So such people have greater chance or greater risk of heart attack. He didn't explain why, but I felt it is quite true, as I mentioned earlier. Deep inside, fear, distrust, and you yourself always remain a little distance from the rest of the human brothers, sisters. That brings loneliness. And then difficult to communicate with other human beings. After all, you are a social animal. You are part of the community. You have to deal with them. But the very very factor which your interest or your future depend, because of your own inner weakness, you yourself isolate from them. How can that person be a happy person? So more worry, more stress. Sometimes I describe the too much self-centered attitude, too much selfish, close our inner door. Through that way, difficult to communicate with other fellow human beings. Once develop more sort of sense of concern of well-being of other brothers, sisters, then inner door automatically open. And very easy to communicate with other people. Irrespective whether believer or non-believer, these quality or potential from birth we already have. I think firstly, here, perhaps a few thousand people here, everybody come from our mother. So sometimes in India, some sort of stories, some very great person or some saint, you see, born from lotus. So sometimes I jokingly telling people, so such people may have more compassionate attitude towards lotus rather than human being. But anyway, and fortunately, we born from our mother. So as soon as we born, by biological factor, both sides, mother side and child side, some kind of immense sort of feeling of closeness, trust. So from mother side, because of that strong emotion of loving kindness or affection, brought energy from mother in order to protect or in order to care, in order to take care of our child. That's a biological factor. Not come from religion, religious faith. Look, animal, no religion, no constitution, no police force. But biological factor, the mother like a cat or dog or bird, biologically, you see, they have tremendous sort of affection, sense of concern of their offspring. So biologically, we equipped that kind of sort of affection. So any person or any animal who sort of appreciate others' affection, that also have the potential to show affection to others. So that's by nature like that. Then, furthermore, some scientists, too much anger, too much fear, constantly sort of experience, that actually eating our immune system. More compassionate mind, very helpful to sustain our immune system. So that shows, because we born through that way, we grown up under others' tremendous affection, care. So therefore, in our blood, some kind of the affection, seed of affection already there. So, the more compassionate mind, our physical element goes very well. Irritative mind not go well with body component. Right? So, we can say basic human nature is more positive, more compassionate. And after all, we are social animal. Even other animal, those kind of social animal, they also have limited altruism, because that need for survival. So then we, human beings, because of this intelligence, altruistic mind can extend, right? Can increase, can expand. The compassion, which come from biological factor, that as a seed. Then using our human intelligence, the thinking or the investigation, the pros and cons are there, pros and cons. Then you get conviction, you get awareness. The warm-heartedness is so important. And for the society, for the family, for individual. Individual also, you see, the more compassionate mind, the individual get best sort of the result. Sometimes I jokingly, half joke, half truth. When I passing through some street, my usual sort of way, I always smile. So sometimes you see the people who a little bit reserved people, and especially you see some young girls, when I smile, I think they get some suspicion. Instead of sort of happiness, you see, they look rather, oh, why? This person is smiling at me. That kind of attitude. So that means, so smile, showing other, as a brother, sister. I feel happy. But that, my sort of compassionate attitude, not necessarily brings some happiness to other. That brings more suspicion, more worry. So as a result of practice of compassion, the first beneficial benefit go to oneself. So I want to make clear this. Sometimes people feel, oh, practice of compassion is something good, something nice to other, but not necessarily to oneself. That's a totally mistake. So therefore, from our birth, see, we already equipped. You see this, this potential. Oh, yes. As a seed of this, you see, biological factor of affection, as a seed, then use human intelligence. That can increase. So there are two levels. One level of quite hot here. too thick, isn't it? So one, the level of affection or compassion, mainly biological factor, that's very limited and also oriented about others' attitude. That kind of affection goes only your friend or those people who show you positive. Then another level of compassion, through training, through using our intellectual intelligent. As I mentioned earlier, it's pros and cons. Then you get conviction. Extreme self-centered attitude is self-destruction. Think more other, really bring inner strength. So through these conviction, then deliberately expand or extend our sense of concern, of well-being, not only towards your friend, but also the neutral people. Then finally, even your enemy or your troublemaker. Once your genuine sense of concern, of well-being reach your enemy, then that compassion is genuine, trained compassion. Unbiased, limitless, infinite. That we can do because of this marvelous intelligence. One example, one Tibetan monk. I know him very well. After 59, he spent about 18, 19 years in Chinese Gulag. So in early 80, he found opportunity to come to India and join his previous monastery. I know him very well. So I just used to talk about his experience during those 18, 19 years. And he told me, during that period, few occasions he faced some danger. I thought danger on his life, maybe. And I asked him, what kind of danger? He told me, danger of forgetting compassion or losing compassion towards the perpetrators. Perpetrators. Also those Chinese who got or something like that. So as a result, such person really practice infinite compassionate value of compassion. Result, that person mentally very peaceful, very calm. And one occasion, after meeting with scientists, I think last now 30 years, almost annually, we have series of discussion with modern scientists, mainly come from America, and at least 3 universities, Wisconsin University and Emory University, and then Stanford University. Now already, last few years, they carry some program, some research work about the value of compassion, these things, and how much relation with our body and our brain. So, one occasion, we simply say, I mentioned this in this the experience, that monk. Then they want to test some of these people. And afterward, they found those people who passing through very difficult period, very difficult life, but their mental state unusually very peaceful. Usually, people who passing through such sort of experience, the traumatic sort of experience, then afterward, some kind of that traumatic experience sometimes happen. So they found that these scientists, after they interview and test, they found, very sort of the peaceful mind. So result, now this particular person, now his age, now 93, 94, still okay, physical okay. So the mental sort of attitude, very important for our health. About 2-3 years ago, I passing through, surgery, the gallbladder remove. So since then, I jokingly telling people, I think I mentioned to you or not, I can't remember, but since then, I told, you see my face, same face, but in reality, one important organ of human body missing. So my body, not complete human sort of body. So in any way, usually, you see, they say that sort of surgery takes only 15-20 minutes, they can complete. But my case, 3 hours took 3 hours because of the complication. But then within 6 days or within 1 week, completely recover. The doctor is surprised, the physician surprised. Wow, although the surgery itself quite complicated, but the recover is unusually sort of faster. So that's my own experience. While I thought lay down on the surgery sort of table, and a few days in the hospital, I feel okay, not much sort of anxiety, not much sort of problem. So the nurses and the physicians, within a few days, we become very good friends. I joke, I tease them like that. So they themselves, you see, afterward, they told me, some of the physicians, since our meeting, their whole life is changed. One physician's wife used to tell me, physician didn't tell me, but the wife used to tell me, my husband, before, a little bit difficult, but after that sort of surgery, after that way, my husband become much more gentler. So in any way, you see, they have more compassionate sort of mind, practice compassion. Really benefit not only oneself, and also you see, create some kind of positive atmosphere. Of course, I'm saying these things not sort of I'm something special. No, nothing. We all have the same potential, same intelligence. It's the same potential. So only thing is, we from childhood we trained. So through training, through study, we pay more attention about our inner value. So you also say the only question is pay more attention in our inner value. Then you get, more experience. So usually, when I always listen BBC. So always talk about money, economy, and the politics. Yeah. So, and look, you see, the people sort of, I think the general sort of, the attitude. Unless you are seeing some sort of, unless it's something you can see or listen some music, without these things, seems to see some people really feel boring. So whole day, look television and listen music. This, I feel, one indication. we are lacking experience, inner value, or looking inward. Simply, you see, thinking about our mind, about our inner value. Then through that way, gain more self-confidence, inner sort of peace. Then these, without seeing, without hearing, simply think, you get immense sort of peace, immense benefit. Through that way, traditionally, people who remain solitude, hermit life, years, because they have the technique, they already know how to bring inner peace through looking inward. Actually, see, there are sort of two categories of happiness and pains. One heavily depends on sensorial consciousness, sensorial experience. Seeing some nice thing, hearing some nice thing, and that brings some inner satisfaction. That kind of satisfaction entirely depends on external means, external things. Now, another level of pains and satisfaction does not depend on sensorial experience. Now, for example, some memory about past sort of experience, feel sort of joyfulness or pain. That's mental level. So these two, mental level experience and physical, the sensorial level experience. The sensorial level, the mental level is more superior. I think, you see, we can examine. Physical pain, sometimes mental sort of peace or mental happiness can subdue physical pain, isn't it? The mental pain cannot subdue by physical comfort. Clear? What? Some sense? What do you think? Okay. So the mental level experience are more superior, more important, more powerful than sensory level. So now modern education, modern society, I think we too much emphasis about sensory level experience. I think now time comes. Now here also, you say, I want to share. I don't know. And anyway, I want to share with you. That's at least 3,000-4,000 years, we human beings, in order to get peace of mind or satisfaction or happiness, we totally depend on prayer. Then last over 2 centuries, science and technology develop. So those things which we want through technology brought immediately, right? So generally, we pay more attention about science and technology rather than prayer. Last year, in one Indian state, the state government, constructed one Buddha Buddhist temple. So he invited me to opening ceremony. So I went there. So then the chief minister, the head of the state government, you see, in his speech, he mentioned due to Buddha's blessing, his state rapidly will because of the prosperity. Then my turn, speech. I know him very well. So I express, if your state can sort of the rapidly prosperity due to Buddha's blessing, then your state much earlier should develop. Because Buddha's blessing lasts 2,500 years already there. But you see, Buddha's blessing entirely depends on able chief minister's hand. I told him. So action really makes change. Prayer will not change. So therefore, you see, the people's interest about science and technology, naturally, you see, much developed. So therefore, as I mentioned earlier, the BBC or this report always talk money like that. Now, later part of 20th century, two fields. One, those real sort of rich people, or sort of society, material, because of affluent material sort of society. Now they begin to feel material value alone not sufficient, something lacking. A few examples, as I already mentioned. That's one thing. Another thing, in the science, the knowledge or research work about neuron or the brain really reach very deep and very sophisticated. Then they begin to show interest, begin to develop interest about emotion, about mind. So, we human beings, not only this body, but there is emotion. So material value provides comfort for physical level, not emotional level. So therefore, now among the scientists, more and more respected, well-known scientists now really carry investigation about our emotion, how to tackle. So later part of 20th century, begin, I say, the genuine interest about our inner value. So then, the modern education system, naturally, 1,000-year-old in the European continent, separate education institutions started. At that time, the moral ethics, the church take the responsibility, and the family also some extent. But now time passes, the influence of the church or the family values also sometimes little decline. So they separate the education institution alone now should carry both responsibility about education, intellectuals, and about moral ethics or wholeheartedness. So you see, there are a lot of people now who really carry some serious research work, how to implement, how to how to bring in modern education curriculum some moral ethics, education of warm-heartedness. So now some research work now carrying like that. So these are, now you see, we people, through our own experience, now we are becoming more mature. So not only pay attention about material value, but also the internal value. So now here, on that respect, various different religious traditions have special role. So I'm very, very happy now here. Seems some one Jews I noticed using that hat, and then this Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. Oh, I think Muslim tradition, isn't it? Or your native tradition? Okay. So perhaps some Muslim. Oh, this is you Jew, Rabbi. There's some, of course, is Christian, some Catholic, Protestant. So, yes. So, all these major religious traditions, in spite different philosophical view. In philosophical field, basically two categories: theistic religion, non-theistic religion. Big differences. But all teachings, all sort of faith, emphasis importance of love, compassion, with that forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline, contentment. I have a lot of sort of friends among Christian, among Muslim, among Hindu, among Jews, a lot of friends, genuine practitioners. So we have same sort of practice, so same potential to transform human being, human negative mind, transform into more positive mind. So here, when we talk about inner value, moral ethics, various religious traditions have very special role. Now here, I want to share one thing. Religious belief, faith, very important. But now here, we must make this distinction. Faith, one truth, one religion, and several truth, several religions. In terms of individual, one truth, one religion is very relevant. But in the terms of the society, several truth, several religion is very relevant. So now, how to sort of overcome this contradiction? As I mentioned, in terms of individual practitioner, concept of one truth, one religion, very important. In the terms of society or community, even now modern society, even a family, there could be it's a different faith. So therefore, in the terms of the group of people, the several truth, several religion is very relevant. Another thing, one time in Argentina, we have, you see, one meeting, some scientist, some religious leader. The one scientist, one physicist, you see, he mentioned, he is a physicist, but he should not develop attachment towards his own scientific field. I think that's very great. I am Buddhist, but I should not develop attachment towards Buddhism. Because once I develop attachment, that's one kind of emotion that, you see, if you too much attachment towards your own faith, then your mind becomes biased. Then you can't see the value of other traditions. You must be faithful towards your own tradition, but you should have open mind about other tradition. You should look at other tradition openly, objectively. Then you can see the value. So this, I think, nowadays, in the name of religion, sometimes divisions, even sometimes conflict happen. So that's not because something wrong about the religion, but because the practitioner, the follower of religion, they themselves too much sort of because of the attachment, right? Like that. That I think important. So in any way, religious harmony, my lifelong commitment. I'm very happy. You see, different spiritual brothers, sisters now here. See, we, in spite of different philosophy, different tradition, we all the same practitioner about warm-heartedness. So please carry more sort of effective role regarding promotion of inner value. And at the same time, I think nearly 7 billion human beings, entire human being, I think it's very difficult to become a religious believer. That's also fact. I think Ireland, Irish people, majority, of course, they, I think, follow Catholicism, isn't it? Yeah. Catholic follow. Yeah. Majority. But there are also, you see, could be non-believer, I think. So, to those believers, if you follow your own religion sincerely, sincerely and seriously, all have same potential to provide you inner peace. But then those non-believer, not much serious about religion. Now, I always say, try. We should now here, I think the way to promote these inner value, there are 3 ways. Number 1, theistic religion. Believe God. You totally submit to that God. That kind of faith reduces extreme self-centered attitude. Very useful. And like my friend, my hero, so your family, your mother, very religious-minded.
Yes.
Yeah. And taking sort of very, very affectionate sort of attitude towards her son. As a result, the son developed that same potential, more alive. So when you face the tragedy, you can handle that tragedy more positive way. So look on his face, very peaceful. No sign of irritation, no sign of anger, no. Nice wife, 2 beautiful daughters. Sometimes I jokingly, I tease him. You cannot see the beautiful faces of your wife and two girls, 2 daughters. But I can enjoy their beautiful face. Sometimes I tease him like that. So in any way, as a sort of result of the more sort of familiar about this inner value, this serious sort of tragedy not disturb much in inner sort of inner world. Result, he carry happy life, and not only he himself just look after he himself, but also you see they engage some work for other, for those for children. So wonderful, wonderful. When you first introduce the person who shot you, now here, really, genuine sort of some kind of spirit of brother to brothers, I really admire. Little bit surprised. All this not due to money, not due to power, but due to inner value. So these are living examples. So that much I want to. So I usually used to call, first, theistic religious way to promote this inner value. And second, non-theistic. That's Buddhism, Jainism, and another ancient Indian sort of tradition believe law of causality. That also one way to promote this inner value. Then there should be third one. That's I usually call secular way to promote. Here I must make clear, when I use the word secularism, does not mean disrespect all religions, but rather respect all religion. According to Indian sort of concept, secularism means respect all religions. No preference, this religion or that religion, equal. And then also, according to Indian sort of concept of secularism, also respect a non-believer. So believe same human being and talk about basic human values. So that also I think we should not ignore that. I think important. Otherwise, there are people who have no interest about religion, then they also no interest about practice of compassion. They felt these are religious matter. That's totally wrong. Whether you accept religion or not, it's up to individual business. But pay more attention about these inner values. This is your own interest. So sometimes I jokingly say telling people, we are biologically sort of what's today selfish person. Because of the selfish feeling, we survived. But that selfish should be wise selfish rather than foolish selfish. Taking care about others' well-being. That's the best way to achieve your own happiness, your own successful life. Out of selfish, only think you yourself, extreme self-centered attitude, you will face sugar problem, or blood pressure, or stress, and then eventually a heart attack. So finally, my two commitment, lifelong two commitment. One commitment is promotion of human values, that I already talked. And then second commitment is promotion of religious harmony. That also now here, I really appreciate you come here. Thank you very much. So those points which I mentioned, if you feel some interest, then think more. And you yourself experiment and investigate. And then if you feel something, something worthwhile to think, then you carry these things in your daily life. If you feel these points which I mentioned is not much relevant to your life, then forget it. No problem. Thank you.